My name is Chloe. I work as a barista at a busy little coffee shop in the heart of Manhattan. I love the energy of the city and the constant stream of people who come through our doors. Making coffee and chatting with customers is something I genuinely enjoy. I have my regulars, people I see every day, and we've built little connections over time. About a year ago, a new customer started coming in. His name was Ben. He was always impeccably dressed with a kind smile and thoughtful eyes. He usually ordered a black coffee and a pastry, and he would often stay for a while, reading or working on his laptop. I found myself noticing when he came in and feeling a little brighter when he did. He was always polite and had a quiet charm about him. As the weeks went by, Ben started striking up conversations with me. We talked about books, the weather, and the little happenings in the neighborhood. I enjoyed our brief chats. They were a nice break in the rush of the morning. One afternoon, when the coffee shop was a bit quieter, Ben asked me if I'd like to grab a drink after my shift. I was a little surprised, but also flattered. I said yes. Our first date was at a cozy bar around the corner from the coffee shop. We talked for hours, discovering shared interests in art and live music. I felt an immediate connection with him, a sense of ease and understanding that I hadn't experienced in a long time. We started seeing each other regularly. We went to museums, saw Broadway shows, and explored different neighborhoods in the city. I really enjoyed his company. He was always so attentive and made me feel like I was the only person in the room. From the beginning, Ben never mentioned being married. He talked about his job as a lawyer, his travels, and his friends, but there was never any mention of a wife or partner. I naturally assumed he was single, and as our feelings for each other deepened, the thought never really occurred to me to ask directly. It just felt like something that would have come up organically in our conversations. We were together for about 6 months. I was really falling in love with him. He was everything I thought I wanted: intelligent, witty, sophisticated, and caring. I imagined a future with him, filled with exciting adventures and quiet moments together. Then, one crisp autumn evening, as I was walking home from work, my phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from an unknown number. I hesitated for a moment before opening it. The message contained a photo. It was a picture of Ben, smiling and holding hands with a woman I had never seen before. They were standing in front of a beautiful church, and the woman was wearing a wedding dress. Below the photo was a short message. "This is my husband, Ben. We've been married for 5 years." The message was signed Olivia. My breath caught in my throat. I stopped dead in my tracks on the busy sidewalk, the noise of the city fading around me. My heart started to pound in my chest. This couldn't be real. Ben? Married? I felt a wave of dizziness and had to lean against a nearby building for support. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I had just seen. 5 years? All this time, he had been living a lie. A few seconds later, my phone rang. It was the same unknown number that had sent the photo. I answered it, my voice trembling. "Hello?" I said, barely able to speak. "Is this Chloe?" a woman's voice asked. It sounded calm but firm. "Yes, speaking," I replied, my hand shaking as I held the phone to my ear. "My name is Olivia," she said. "I sent you a message with a picture. I'm Ben's wife." The words confirmed my worst fears. I felt a knot of nausea tighten in my stomach. I don't know what to say," I stammered, tears welling up in my eyes. "I understand this must be a shock for you," Olivia said, her voice surprisingly gentle. "But I needed to reach out. I saw you and Ben together a few times, and a friend of mine told me about you." I felt a wave of shame wash over me. I had been so blind, so trusting. "He never told me," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. "He never said he was married." "I know," Olivia said softly. Ben hasn't been honest with either of us. There was a sadness in her voice that mirrored my own pain. Why are you telling me this? I finally managed to ask, my voice trembling. Because I love Ben and we have a family, Olivia replied. We have 2 young children. I don't want to lose him and I want to fight for our marriage, but I needed you to know the truth. I listened, my heart aching for her and for myself. I had unknowingly become entangled in someone else's life, and the realization was devastating. Do you have any other pictures? I asked, a part of me still struggling to fully grasp the reality of the situation. A few moments later, my phone buzzed again. Olivia had sent me more photos, pictures of her and Ben on their honeymoon, photos of them with their 2 adorable children, snapshots of their life together. They looked like a happy family, a life that Ben had kept completely hidden from me. Tears streamed down my face as I looked at the pictures. The betrayal cut deep. How could he have done this to both of us? All those romantic dinners, the whispered promises, the dreams we'd shared, they were all based on a lie. I thought back to all the times we had spent together. Had any of it been real? Had he ever truly cared for me, or was I just a distraction, a secret he kept hidden away? The questions swirled in my mind, each one more painful than the last. Another message came through from Olivia. Please, Chloe, I'm asking you. Please don't see Ben anymore. Help me save my family. The weight of her plea settled on me. I could hear the desperation in her words, the fear of losing everything she held dear. I understand, Olivia, I typed back, my fingers shaking. I will stop seeing Ben, I promise. I knew what I had to do. I couldn't continue a relationship built on such a fundamental lie. It wasn't fair to Olivia, to her children, or to myself. The next day, Ben came to the coffee shop as usual. He smiled when he saw me behind the counter. Hey, Chloe, he said, his eyes warm and familiar. My heart ached at the sight of him, but I forced myself to remain composed. Hi, Ben, I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. Can we talk? After my shift? He looked a little surprised, but nodded. Sure, what's up? I'll explain later, I said, avoiding his gaze. After my shift, we walked to a nearby park. The autumn leaves were falling, creating a beautiful but melancholic scene. I took a deep breath and turned to face him. Ben, I began, my voice trembling slightly, I know about Olivia. His smile faded, and his face turned pale. What do you mean? He stammered, his eyes wide with panic. Olivia called me last night, I said, my voice stronger now. She told me everything. She sent me pictures. Ben looked like he had been punched in the gut. Oh, Chloe, he said, his voice barely a whisper. I was going to tell you, I swear. A wave of anger and hurt washed over me. When, Ben? When were you going to tell me that you have a wife and 2 children? I asked, my voice rising. After months of lying to me, after I fell in love with you. I don't know what to say, he mumbled, looking down at the ground. I made a terrible mistake. A mistake? I repeated, my voice laced with disbelief. Ben, you completely deceived me. You let me believe we had a future together when all along... My voice trailed off, choked with emotion. I care about you, Chloe, he said, reaching for my hand. I pulled my hand away. Don't, I said, tears streaming down my face. Don't say that. You have a wife, Ben. You have a family. You can't just pretend that doesn't exist. I know, he said, his voice filled with regret. I've been so stupid. I never meant to hurt you. But you did hurt me, Ben, I said, my voice breaking. You broke my trust. I can't be with someone who is capable of such a deep betrayal. Please, Chloe, he begged, his eyes filled with desperation. Don't end this. I love you. I want to be with you. My heart ached. I did love him, or at least I thought I did. But the lies had poisoned everything. You need to choose, Ben, I said firmly. You can't have both of us. He was silent, his eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and confusion. I felt a pang of sympathy for him, but I knew I had to be strong. I need time, Chloe, he said finally. I need time to figure things out. I nodded slowly. Take your time, Ben, I said quietly, but I won't wait for you. I turned and walked away, leaving him standing alone in the park. I felt a profound sense of sadness and loss, but also a sense of relief. I had made the right decision, even though it hurt. In the following weeks, I threw myself into my work and spent time with my supportive friends. They listened patiently as I poured out my feelings of hurt and betrayal. I tried to distract myself, to forget Ben, but memories of our time together would often surface, bringing with them a wave of sadness. One evening I was at home feeling particularly down. I thought about all the things I had loved about Ben, his wit, his charm, the way he made me feel seen. But then I would remember the lies, the hidden life he had been living, and the pain would return. I also thought about Olivia, a woman I had never met but with whom I now shared a painful connection. I couldn't imagine what she was going through. I decided to call my friend Maria. She always had a way of making me feel better. We met for dinner a few days later, and I told her everything that had happened. You did the right thing, Chloe, Maria said firmly. He wasn't honest with you from the beginning. You deserve someone who is completely yours. I know, I replied, sighing, but it's still hard to let go of what I thought we had. Maria nodded sympathetically. It's okay to grieve the relationship you thought you had, but you need to focus on yourself now, on healing and moving forward. You're strong, Chloe. You'll get through this. Talking to Maria helped me feel less alone. She reminded me of my worth and my resilience. I knew I would eventually heal from this heartbreak. After a few weeks, I reached out to Olivia again. I wanted to see how she was doing and to offer her my support. We met for coffee near her apartment. She looked a little tired, but grateful to see me. Thank you for meeting me, Chloe, she said, her voice soft. I wanted to check in on you, I replied, and to let you know that I meant what I said. I haven't contacted Ben, and I won't. Olivia nodded. Thank you, Chloe. That means a lot to me. We talked for a long time that afternoon. Olivia shared her struggles and her hopes for her marriage. She told me that she and Ben were talking, trying to understand what had gone wrong. I listened, offering words of encouragement and support. You're a strong woman, Olivia, I said. You deserve happiness. She smiled weakly. So do you, Chloe. We talked about our lives, our dreams, and our hopes for the future. Even though we met because of a bad situation, I felt like I was friends with Olivia. The same man had hurt both of us, but we both wanted to get over it. A few months later, I decided it was time for a change. I loved New York, but I felt like I needed a fresh start, a new environment to help me fully heal. I applied for a job at a bookstore in Seattle and was thrilled when I got it. Saying goodbye to my friends in New York was tough, but they understood my need for a change. I promised to stay in touch. Before I left, I received a message from Olivia. Ben and I are still working on things, it read. It's not easy, but we're trying. Thank you again for your understanding, Chloe. I truly appreciate it. I replied, wishing her and Ben all the best. I was glad that they were trying to rebuild their marriage. Life in Seattle was good. I loved my new job at the bookstore, and the city was beautiful. I made new friends and started to build a new life for myself. I still thought about Ben and Olivia occasionally, hoping they were finding happiness. One sunny afternoon, as I was exploring a new neighborhood, I saw a familiar figure walking towards me. It was Ben. He looked surprised to see me. Chloe? He said, a hint of disbelief in his voice. Ben, I replied, trying to remain calm. We talked for a few minutes. He told me that he and Olivia were still together, and working hard on their relationship. He seemed genuinely sorry for the pain he had caused. "I just wanted to say again that I'm truly sorry, Chloe," he said. "I know I messed up badly." "Thank you, Ben," I replied. "I hope things work out for you and Olivia." We said goodbye, and as I watched him walk away, I felt a sense of closure. I had moved on, and he was trying to rebuild his life with his wife. In the end, I learned a valuable lesson about trust, honesty, and the importance of knowing someone's full story. I knew that one day I would find a love that was true and honest, a love built on a foundation of respect and open communication. I felt hopeful for the future, ready to embrace whatever it held. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for more like it. Share your thoughts in the comments and spread the emotion with others. Don't forget to give it a like.